Difficult game for us with a great team. Hapoel is a historic team with good players, great coach. But our ambition and our illusion is play a good game and win the game.
Many people expect from the Spanish team to compete for the trophy. Do you see that for your team?
Yeah, I think my team is ready to play a good game and to play with one team. If they play with a lot of rhythm, a lot of players, physical players, and for us it's important to control the rhythm.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Estudiasos americanos.
As much as we can. I mean, it wasn't easy for us, especially in Israel. We were the last league to play, so all the other 7 teams that participate here, they had like 3-4 weeks ahead of us. Some of them start their league, so they got a little advantage on us. But we try to do our best, starting in the summer, building a team. And also the preparation was tough for us. I think the most important thing was to stay healthy, but we lost, we missed Jacob and Brown due of injury. And Papas get in the last 5 days. So we find some difficulties, but there are some excuses, and there are excuses and there are wins. So we need to leave the excuses on the side, and to try to do our best.
Well, hello everybody. You are looking live inside the Oaxaca, the Olympic arena here in Athens. For the second time, the Basketball Champions League Final 8 will be played here. Of course, a couple years ago it was the Final 4, but this is the Final 8. And we are tipping things off with Hapoel Bank Yahav Jerusalem and San Pablo Burgos. I'm Jeff Taylor, and joined for the entire Final 8 by Mark Clark, and we'll be bringing you all the action from what takes place here in Athens, one of the real true spiritual homes, I think, of basketball in all of Europe. And what a great venue, really, considering everything that the world, not just the sports world, but the world has been through with the coronavirus pandemic. It's been a huge undertaking to put all this together, but we're glad. Here you see the road to the final as it is in that upper left quadrant. Hapoel Jerusalem and Burgos, the winner, will advance to take on either Turk Telecom or JDA Dijon. And of course, some very good teams over on the other side of the bracket: Nymburk, Ike, Zaragoza, and Tenerife. So again, Ike tried to win it for the second time. They won it in year 2. This is year 4, the completion of the 2019-2020 season. And Mark, you have been with me a lot of this time. In fact, all 4 seasons. And Ike, one of the favorites. But who knows? Maybe this is a year for a team like Burgos, which made it all the way through the qualifying, to come out and make a real name for themselves in this competition.
Well, Jeff, absolutely, because you can throw the form book out from last season because teams have made so many changes, and a lot will come down to how quickly these rosters gel. Now, Burgos on this roster here, already 3 games in the ACB. They had a tough opening loss with Barcelona, but then 2 wins. They've really clicked into gear offensively. This team is scoring for fun. Only Real Madrid score more points than them in the ACB in the opening 3 weeks. And with the experience of Omar Cook in the backcourt, you know that team is going to get good shots.
Well, everybody knows about number 6 there, Tamir Blatt, but how about Malcolm Hill, number 21? He arrives with a big name at Illinois, University of Illinois, one of the all-time greats, really, the 3rd all-time leading scorer there, and he is looking to come and make a big impact. Tariq Phillip, who plays for Great Britain's national team, and Nikos Pappas there, who played several years in this arena with Panathinaikos, Hapoel Bank Yahab Jerusalem, with Oded Katash. You got the feeling that, you know, they're up against it here in this first game. They haven't had the luxury, as you said, that Burgos have had of coming out and playing those 3 games. But a lot of good players in that team. Tayshaun Thomas, obviously, in the star 5, outstanding. You know, we've talked a lot about Blatt. But Mark, really, you know, to me, it comes down to, as I was telling you earlier, the 2 C's and the R. The chemistry, the continuity, and the rhythm of these teams. And really, you just get the feeling that Burgos have arrived here in Athens with a little bit more of each of those compared to Hapoel Jerusalem.
Well, they definitely have, Jeff. As we said, they've had those games in the ACB. And the other thing for Jerusalem, James Fielden leaving and going to play in the ACB is a huge loss, not just in terms of points, but he's one of those heartbeat of the team players. He sets the tone. They've made changes, but then again, you could level that as a problem for Burgos, but they've had those 3 games to sort of to get that roster moving as a group. It's so difficult. You see teams in preseason. For Hapoel Jerusalem, this is the first time in a competitive game with this roster. As coach said in the short interview there, Pappas has only just joined the group 4 or 5 days ago. It's going to be tough, but what they have is real quality. They have some consistency, and they have guys individually that can score. Chris Kamer can score. He has Basketball Champions League pedigree that is unmatched. You know, a triple-double in the BCL is just a phenomenal achievement. And his experience across Europe with those 5 years in Germany, he is another guy that can light it up. And it will be, I think, some individual performances from Jerusalem that will enable them to stay in this. If they hang around, if they stay in this to the 4th quarter, then it's a too close to call game. But I think Burgos is depth. Their roster is great. 10 players playing double-digit minutes in the first 3 weekends of the ACB. It's going to be a tough ask for Jerusalem trying to come out of the blocks, get some rhythm on the floor, and I think it is going to be down to some individual performances for Jerusalem to keep them in the game.
Well, very interesting comments, Mark. You look at the likes of Omar Cook in this team, and 38 years of age, amazing. There's Vitor Benite, who also was honored with all league honors. I believe he was 2nd team, and it's a great honor to be recognized by the Basketball Champions League. And of course, he had so many wonderful performances. And they would like nothing more than to kind of finish what they started, albeit with a couple of new faces, but still a lot of the players in this Burgos team were there last year. Omar Cook, though, 38 years of age, an amazing story. He's been there for all of it. And there in the left part of your screen, Ken Horton, the newcomer, a solid, great example of how a basketball player of his ilk could leave America and come over to Europe and establish, you know, have a successful career and just get better and better and better. And of course, Kareem Queeley there looking at the video, one of the Great Britain hosts. Vitor Benite, though, Brazil international, the Olympian, great player, and really was terrific this season for this Burgos team.
Well, Jeff, I think the point about this Burgos team is that they've recruited so well. I mean, Dejan Klavic, phenomenal performances in the first 3 weeks of the ACB. You know, he's 2 meters 11. He's 30 years old. Horton's 30 years old. These guys are like wine. They're vintage. They get better with age, and they're just coming up with performances. And the GM at Burgos, alongside Coach Penaloria, deserve a lot of credit for the way they found the roster that gel so quickly. A lot of credit to the coach, but the players that have been recruited in a difficult time is just a testament to someone really earning their living as a GM and putting together a roster that really gives Burgos a real genuine chance to win a major European competition, and so early in their club history as a major player in the ACB. That's a phenomenal achievement from the club, top to bottom.
We see Jordan Sacco running out. He started this season, or rather, shall we say, the 2019-20 campaign with Manresa. Now he's here, and there's Omar Cook, played for so many clubs in Spain, and has been successful with all of those teams. And of course, Xavi Rabaseda, the Spain international, the World Cup winner in 2019, played for Sergio Scariolo, and Ken Horton, as I mentioned, a veteran, a journeyman whose kind of career looks like it's really on that upward trajectory right now. So exciting to watch him now in the Basketball Champions League. And one other thing we have to say about Kravic, don't forget he was in the Virtus team that won the Basketball Champions League in year 2. So Kravic brings that pedigree as well. But you know what? Oded Katash, even though he mentioned some difficult issues that they're facing with Hapoel Jerusalem, he said, listen, you know, these are, you know, you don't go into a competition like this making excuses. You know, it is what it is. We need to come out and adjust. And as sportsmen, these guys, they'll be looking to rise to the challenge here against Burgos.
Well, the other thing about Coach Katash, Jeff, is his system really does create advantage for players. And the point about the individual quality, the individual ability to break players down off the dribble, which he has guys on his team who can really do that. His system really does give them that advantage, and they are so tough to guard in one-on-one environments that if they share the ball and embrace his mentality after just a few days of practice as a whole group, they're going to be a challenge for everybody. Beauty of this competition, 1 to 8, any one of these 8 teams has a real chance, and it's who comes up with the performance on the night. The beauty of these one-off competitions, one-off games. There's no tomorrow. It's like you win, you stay, you lose, you go home. And I think with the individual talent, I think if they can break people down and share the ball, they're going to get good shots out of Katash's system.
Katash, also the coach of Israel's national team, and you know, knows a lot about all of these players, and he's really hoping that this man, Nikos Pappas, comes out, and despite just having been with the club for several days, that he'll come out and bring his experience that he's had playing at the highest level in Europe with Panathinaikos, and hopefully perhaps with a chip on his shoulder or something. You know, it really does look like they're much more in preseason with some of the mistakes that are happening.
Yeah, the one thing you can always say about Hapoel Jerusalem is that you know, during the regular season, they were fluid offensively. They got lots of good shots. They ran the floor really well. And 0 from 5 from 3, it's just, that's not a Jerusalem-like stat at all from the three-point line. But they're taking shots that they're not used to taking. They're taking shots that Burgos want them to take. And they're going, in preseason, you look for your offense. You're trying to run your offense. It's not, you're not trying to play from it. You're not trying to play off it. You're just trying to get on the same page. And that's how they look at the moment. Well, statistically, that's 0 in the three-point, 0 from 6. That's pretty much the difference between the two teams in terms of most ways you look at it. Jerusalem is a team that normally moves the ball so well, creates the open looks, and normally is very good from the three-point line. And I'm sure that that's what they've lost, though. The players they've lost a lot of threat from beyond the three-point line. And add to that, Jacob Brown being injured, another big-time threat from beyond the arc. So that part of the offensive armory is not there for Coach Katash at the moment, but I love the way Pappas has come into the game. Maybe a little slower tempo for Jerusalem than regular viewers on the Basketball Champions League would be used to, but the way he's making decisions has given them some high percentage finishes. But I've got to love the way Burgos have started this game. They share the ball really well. They play at a tempo, and well, you can't say.
So timeout on the floor.
Jeff, going back to one of the points made in that first quarter, they also look better, Jerusalem, when they spend a little bit of time with the basketball. When Papas was on the floor, they had a little bit more control. If they run up and down, Burgos just look, they're the better team at running up and down and keeping the game spread in transition at the moment. And that's the point, that it's not normal Jerusalem basketball to try and slow tempo. They really want to get the ball moving. They want to take early shots. So it's a tough ask for them to almost come out of character.
Out on the court, 45 seconds remaining in the first half, and it's all Hereda and Pablo Burgos right now.
Jeff, we talked right at the beginning of the game how quickly that they're clicked into gear offensively. Only Real Madrid's averaged more points than them in the first 3 games in the ACB, and they're 48 points on Jerusalem in this first half. But that last possession sort of sums up this first half performance by Jerusalem. They come up with a steal, and as you say, 3-on-1. They can't complete the play.
Jerusalem were actually the better team on the floor, but they weren't able to make inroads, and then it was almost as if San Pablo Burgos got a second wind, and they just raced into a big double-digit lead. But Kravich has just been sensational.
Absolutely sensational. Absolutely. As well as he's always been a skillful player. He's always had great touch. His work rate is phenomenal, and he's a real asset for Burgos. For me, Jeff, I think they've got to find a way, Jerusalem. Papas and Tashawn Thomas on the floor together is a combination that may help. They still need Black to become a factor. And, well, Malcolm Hill is their X factor if you can get going points-wise. But they've got to get stops. And against Burgos, that's tough because they have so much and so many perimeter threats that to keep them under 40, to keep them 35 and lower is where they need to get to. But that's good. That is a tough ask in the second half.
You know, as it relates to Hapoel Yahav Bank Jerusalem, you know, areas where you thought they might have had a chance, might have been better. And then with Papas, we didn't know that he was actually going to come out as strong as he has. But here it is. We've talked about him all night. Leading scorer, Kravich, who's got 12 points. He's playing above the rim. He is doing it all. The only thing he hasn't done tonight is hit a three-pointer, and I'm not even sure if he's going to attempt one. But look at that. Perfect. 6 of 6 inside the arc. 6 of 6 overall. And again, he also has all of those rebounds to go with it. And he's able to score when he takes the contact. He's doing it. Looks like a very good signing for Burgos to get him from Obradoro.
Oh, that's a tremendous. They get a hard time if they recruit, but they get very little credit when they put a great, you know, they find the balance of a team. And for Burgos to make as many changes, you know, they lost Augusta Lima. They've lost a number of players on the. Oh, Clark's gone. Fittipaldo's gone. We're going to see him in this competition. Takoto's gone. You know, and they've put a team on the floor, and then Coach Penaloyas had to put that roster together and get them to play together in a relatively short space of time. But that's a great piece of work between the end of the last ACB season and now by that organization as a club. They need a lot of credit for what they've done.
And of course, looking at those highlights of Tashawn Thomas, their leading scorer, Hapoel Jerusalem with 8 points. If they have any chance, really, they've got a lockdown defensively. And they need their big guys to come to the floor.
And now, Silicon passes by. The push. Alley. Oh, baby! It is a high-flying show from the team from Germany. They're throwing everything up. They're putting on a show.
Chance to run here for Andrew Mar. They push. Great push. Nice pass. Super finish. And Yilmaz gets the 2.
Hurt them if they come back and score, but Holston makes up for the mistake. Gets the steal. Julien takes it in. Big hit. And the finish from Axel Julien.
Look out, had it knocked away, pick it, pocket pick. Oh, the block! Spiked that one against the backboard. He puts it on the floor. Oh! Attacked the closeout and just threw it hard.
That's a run for three. And there for the follow, put back dunk is Kyle Wilcher. Flying in unchecked. You see that Shabazz was doing all he could to box out foul, but nobody prevented Kyle Wilcher. Right behind the back. Oh, big time three. Kendrick Gray. And Dio Fria Bacalo. Kendrick Gray.
Go back inside. Holland knocks it away. Chance for building a run. Gives it up. Ramo in transition. Oh! Spike didn't then take that. Jerusalem trying to break open the game here.
Dijon with Holston. Oh, what a play! Gildesley. And has the ball knocked away. A good play by Tascarine. It's going to be an easy one. It's going to be Nick Johnson. A Whirlybird special. Nice 360 from Nick Johnson. Look at this. You don't get many chances to have a 360.
Well, 49-32 is the advantage here at halftime for San Pablo Burgos over Hapoel Yahav Bank Jerusalem. But Tayshawn Thomas being named to the start lineup for this season and receiving his start lineup trophy. That was actually taken before the game. And really, he's going to have to come out and do something perhaps special to be a part of an overall special effort by Hapoel Bank Yahav Jerusalem here against the San Pablo Burgos team if they're going to overturn this big halftime deficit. Remember, these two teams met each other during the regular season, but the big storyline obviously is that the coronavirus pandemic halted play in both the Basketball Champions League and domestic leagues all over. Both Spain and Israel, actually, which these two teams play in. Burgos plays obviously in Spain, and Jerusalem plays in the Israeli Winter League. They did actually come back and finish, and they had season-ending tournaments, a longer one, in fact, for Israel. But now that they've come back together for the new season, there are some new faces.
Take every opportunity and just the missed open three and the 7 unanswered points, and all of a sudden you're back out to 24-point margin, and it's now an even bigger mountain to climb.
Well, that's what Burgos can do. They can strike quickly. They have these runs, and forcing Hapoel Bank Yahav Jerusalem, now a desperate Jerusalem, to call a timeout, trailing by 24 points.
Go now in a small lineup. All right? Pass you match up with the foreman. With the foreman who plays sitting defense. Don't create separation. All right, these are the foremen. Stay connected, be aggressive. We need quick offenses. Quick offenses. 4 open.
A lot more kind of polish to their game. A lot more zip, zest, whatever you want to say. And I think that for Hapoel Yahav Bank Jerusalem, you know, just they had a great season, and it was just unfortunate that the coronavirus pandemic came along when it did for everybody. But for their basketball club, because they were definitely one of the contenders, and I think that really they just weren't able to come close to the level that we watched them play during this past season. But they've got a lot, I think, to look forward to this season, and perhaps there's really good things to come from them. So San Pablo Burgos win it 92-65. Next up will be the quarterfinal between Turk Telecom and JDA Dijon. And the winner of that next quarterfinal, of course, now knows that they will go up against a very good team from Spain. Yeah, very good. Very good. Very good first quarterfinal. Looking forward to the next one. And San Pablo Burgos certainly lived up to expectations.